Hey guys, welcome to another really significant week of astrology that we have playing out in the second week of March 2023. If you guys have been following my channel, you know that I've been saying that this month of March is really one of the pinnacle months of this year from an energetic perspective in terms of the transits that are unfolding and the changes that are sort of upon us as a result of that. Well, this week is no different. We have this week full moon in Virgo that is happening on the 7th in correspondence with dun 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 Saturn's entrance into the sign of Pisces. This is a huge energetic shift. We also have Jupiter and Chiron coming into an exact alignment in the sign of Aries this week. This is the first time that this has happened in quite a while. This is a rare transit. It only happens every 14 to 19 years, so that's a big deal. We also have our third and final Mars square Neptune that is playing out this week as well, and that is an energy that we've been dealing with and that we are wrapping up right now. So there's a lot transpiring and unfolding this week that is really helping to move us forward, move us on from some things and away from some things, and simultaneously help us to heal on some deep levels and overcome maybe some victim complexes or just some lack mindsets that have perhaps kept us from pursuing a path in alignment with what we truly want and what universe wants to bring us this year and moving forward. So you guys, that being said, let's get into our chart for today. Let's look at how we are opening energetically this week that is hosting all of this big energy and talk about what things might be looking like for us on the ground as we go through this energy today. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, March 6th, 2023. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. We are in a big week. We are in a big month. We're in a big year in that process. And today, there's a lot of nodal activation going on that is indicating the divinely ordained time in which all of this is coming into fruition this week, and destiny and karma, where we've been, where we're going, the cosmic blueprint unfolding and detaching us from one thing and pulling us towards another thing. This is the energy this week that is initiating it. We've got some interesting Mercury, Moon, North Node, South Node aspects setting up today that we're going to talk about in this report. But you guys, a lot of the energy this week generally is going to be centered around themes of wounding, healing, and transition. Like I've said, moving away from one thing and being ready to move towards something else. This is not a forced transition though. This is a natural, gradually occurring process where I feel like we are coming to a point where we are feeling ready on a soul and a spirit and a heart and a mind-based level to pretty much like release ourselves from some version of ourselves or some past circumstances or situations and really start moving towards something that we feel like is a better fit for us, a more authentic representation of the way that we essentially like want to live our lives moving forward. So we're talking about wounding this week, we're talking about healing, we're talking about overcoming. We're also though talking about some things that we may want to avoid or that maybe we've been avoiding up to a certain point, maybe like this point, but that we can't hide from anymore. With Saturn's entrance, you guys, into this sign of Pisces this week, we're going to be talking about this a lot, specifically the video. Tomorrow we will have a full moon video. The video after that, we will be focusing in on understanding this Saturn and Pisces energy. But Pisces is a dualistic sign. It's two fish swimming in opposite directions. It manifests usually according to some very specific polarities. And in the context of Saturn coming into this sign, it's requiring accountability and an ability to face maybe some more difficult things that we had wanted to hide from or avoid in the past. But on the other hand of things, it also really gives us a very strong potential to really reframe and restructure our reality in a way that is much more open to potentials and possibilities and like anything is possible, okay, when we have this energy going on as well. And like I said, we're going to talk much more about this, but this week, and just in the context of this energy as it's coming in, extremely transitional energy, it's breaking down the boundaries, okay? Saturn rules boundaries, Saturn rules constraints. Pisces dissolves things, it erodes things, it washes them away. And with Saturn moving into the sign of Pisces, this is breaking down the boundaries and the constraints which had held together our previous misconceptions of our reality in a lot of ways. This is probably something that we're going to be experiencing, a dissolving of the barriers as well between fantasy and reality, fact and fiction, and also, though, through that process, creating a less judgmental or critical framework for perceiving what is and what isn't possible. So both these, like, you know, positive and negative octave energies, it is, on one hand, like, things could start to get a bit weird because we may really be questioning what's real and what's not. And that can be a little scary, you know what I mean? Especially like in the context of also Pluto at the very last degree of the sign of Capricorn. These are like long-standing belief systems and like orders of understanding. This is like the previous thought matrix of the past. The beliefs also in the sign of Pisces, what we believed for long periods of time, getting reframed or restructured or going through some type of transformative process. And especially with Pluto about to move into the sign of Aquarius, I do feel like there's going to be some type of revolutionary understanding that comes through that really changes the way that we are believing and perceiving about a lot of things. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And I feel like the focus is going to be on the heavens, on the skies, and on looking and turning our eyes upwards over this next period of time. It's interesting in terms of that. Also, though, Pisces, this is also about water. So Saturn moving to sign Pisces, and we'll talk more about this as well. This could have some type of impact on like the oceans and marine life and oil and stuff like that over this next 2.5 years. Anyways, though, what this is doing is it is sort of opening us up, okay? It's opening up our viewpoint, our perception, our connection to our previous beliefs and understandings about reality itself. So it could be a bit of sort of, you know, messing with our mind a little bit here and there, but it also is really opening our mind, and we're going to be discovering and entertaining potentials and possibilities, you guys, we never would have thought like possible. It's gonna be like this next 2.5 years or so, I think that we are going to start to see things coming into our reality that we just didn't, like, we begin to think we're just like science fiction or something like that. Like, I think there's gonna be like, especially like technological innovations and stuff like that with Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius, and just like a lot of very future oriented stuff that starts coming into our paradigm. But we're being pulled into this new paradigm, so of course that is what would make sense. But that's sort of, you know, people's beliefs are about to change, you guys. There's, again, like these polarities going on. On one hand, this total skepticism and almost like atheism, right? Saturn, which is like cold hard truth and cold hard facts and wanting to see it to believe it, in the sign of Pisces, which is like the intangible and, you know, what that which can't be seen or named or touched, you know what I mean? It's the invisible realms and worlds and the spiritual connection and all of that. So Saturn there could create just a like detachment or like a boundary on one hand between our ability to connect, and we could see sort of like a surge of like spiritual skepticism and, like I said, like atheism and stuff like that. But on the other hand, the other extreme, we could start seeing like some very strange, weird or unusual like cults coming up, or like spiritual groups and spiritual leaders that are very powerful and very authoritative spiritual leaders and stuff like that, entertaining, you know, maybe some very unusual or different beliefs could be coming up now as well. But opening the door, I do believe, for like true innovation and spiritual maturation at the end of this process. So, you know, I feel like things could get sort of weird to start out. Like I said, kind of like the breakdown between like what's real and what's not. And all of a sudden, like realizing that where we thought reality stopped up until this point is really like just the beginning of like what is possible. So it's just some interesting times that we're moving into, you guys. Pretty significant awakenings, adjustments to also support healing and release, like I said, and transcendence over our past wounds and circumstances. We're totally redefining ourselves. We're totally like reframing our reality in this energy. Self-limiting beliefs are, we're leaving a lot of those as a part of this process as well. Like I said, this week we have the full moon, which is happening on the 7th, which is happening tomorrow, which is in a trine with Uranus, simultaneous to that, Saturn is moving into the sign of Pisces. This is really significant energy activation happening all at the same time. We also have Jupiter and Chiron coming into exact alignment this week in the sign of Aries as well. Again, this is another rare transit. It only happens every basically once every 2 decades. And then we have the 3rd Mars-Neptune square that is coming to fruition this week as well. And that is actually, it's going to be a multi-day transit. And Neptune and the Sun and Mercury are all going to be in alignment on one of these days. I think that might actually be the 3rd week. Yeah, that'll be the 3rd week, but we're building into that this week as well. So there's going to be a lot to talk about this week, you guys. You don't want to miss any of these episodes. And let's get back into today, though, to start our week. As I said, we have some pretty significant nodal activations happening featuring the moon and Mercury, thoughts and feelings, very future-oriented energy this week, by way of actually like healing and moving on from the past, okay? I've presented this nice little diagram over here, if you guys can see this, sort of explaining our flow chart of what is going on with Mercury in opposition to the moon today, okay, in Virgo. And then we have the north and the south nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. And if you can see right over here, Mercury forms the opposition, right, to the moon in Virgo. But then we've got the moon in Virgo forming the trine to the north node in Taurus, earth signs, forming the sextile to Mercury in Pisces. Mercury in Pisces forming the trine to the south node in the sign of Scorpio, forming the sextile to the moon in Virgo. So we've got trines, we've got sextiles that are playing out, that are going on between the nodes of the moon, destiny and karma, the past and the future, what we're moving on from, where we're going, and then Mercury and the moon, our mind and emotions. I will tell you guys, Mercury and the moon, these are both the fastest moving planets. This is not an energy that is really like sticking around for long periods of time. But while it's here, it is pretty significant. And I feel like it is sort of another crossroads day that we have going on to open really another crossroads week in this very transitional period of time that we are in right now, bridging us out of the past and into the future. The positions right now of the north and the south nodes at 6 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio, the Sabian symbol placement is basically telling us everything we need to know about the energy right now. 6 degrees of Taurus, that Sabian symbol is a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. Like we are actively building our pathway towards the future right now, and it's the north node. So according to the overall plan, you know, divinely timed, coming into fruition right now. And the south node is 6 degrees of Scorpio. A gold rush tears men away from their native soil. So this is about a release from the past in pursuit of true value and in pursuit of, you know, the gold of the soul, right? Which is this hero's journey, which is this Chiron archetype, which is this process of self-actualization, which is working towards our highest potential and activating destiny and finding our purpose and growing and going on the path that helps us grow into that. Like this whole thing is all about, you know, chasing the gold, chasing our best self, like chasing our potential, activating our destiny. And the nodal positions right now are really referencing and talking about it as well by their Sabian symbol placement again. And now we're talking about the moon, our emotions and our feelings, and Mercury, our thoughts and our mind, coming into these alignments today that are on a mental and emotional level, helping us to make that transition. We have Mercury at 7 degrees of Pisces today. That means he's forming an exact trine to the south node, well, almost at 6 degrees of Scorpio, the north node at 6 degrees of Taurus. So we've got a water sign trine, an emotional trine, emotion trine going on between our mind, Mercury, south node, Scorpio. We are mentally ready to release and move on, detach ourselves from some feelings from the past that had kept us bound in certain ways to something that was not supportive or conducive to our growth in this process of chasing our own internal gold, right? And then we've got the moon in Virgo today, preparing to set us up for our full moon in Virgo tomorrow, right? Coming into the exact opposition with Mercury in Pisces, Virgo, Taurus, north node Taurus, Virgo, moon, earth signs, trine between the moon, our emotions and our feelings, and the north node, where we're going, where we're moving to. These trines, you guys, these 120-degree aspects, these are facilitating, these are assisting. So on a mental level today, something about our mind is helping to release ourselves from the past. Like we're ready to do that on like a more like logical level, like it makes sense. And then on our feeling based level, like our heart and our soul, like we are feeling compelled, like on a more like gut instinct level, to move towards something new, to move towards something different, to do it a different way, to see it a different way, to, you know, internalize things perhaps in a bit of a different way that is taking more into account our own personal value, our own sense of self-worth, our own potential, and what we truly want in alignment with like a more authentic truth. So we have Mercury in the opposition to the moon for one. Pisces and Virgo. This, mind you, Mercury does rule the sign of Virgo and is not all that like clear and linear and logical in the sign of Pisces. So things could seem a bit clouded today. We may be sort of going back and forth between things with the nodes so activated. Our thoughts and what our mind and our head are telling us about a situation might be sort of up against or in kind of a conflict, or we may just be sort of reflecting on our feelings about things and what our intuition is simultaneously trying to tell us. We may also sort of like feel sort of like we just know something on a gut level right now, but we can't like logically understand it, or we don't know why we feel that way, or we can't wrap our head around it, or we can't believe it for one reason or another. I do not today, you guys, think that it is the best day for decision making, but I do think that today is a really good day to observe our own thoughts, observe our own feelings, and observe our own decision making process that may be sort of like that we may sort of have going on within us at the moment. But like I said, this is a quick moving energy. This energy is only going to really be present for today. So we'll be in better decision making energy tomorrow, but I don't recommend, you know, necessarily like making that choice or taking the action to make a decision as things are lining up today. But again, observing our decision making process and trying to, you know, see why we feel that way, or just paying attention to our thoughts and our feelings today could benefit us moving forward. The past and the future, like I said, are obviously going to be very much like in the crosshairs with whatever we're going on and whatever juxtaposition or whatever inner conflict or inner dialogue even between our mind and our feelings is going on today. But with both planets being in the trine and sextile aspects, these are positive aspects, these are supportive, these are facilitating us, and mentally, right? Mercury trine the south node, we have this opportunity to release and to move on from the past, while emotional energy today is orienting us towards and opening us up to and like pushing us, nudging us towards embracing the future path and future growth that are kind of calling us towards them right now. So Moon in Virgo, you know, this can be a bit of a more emotionally cold and critical energy, but mentally we're very like idealistic and sort of open to possibilities and like daydream type oriented with Mercury in the sign of Pisces. But in combination, I feel like what this energy is kind of boiling down to is we don't want what is not working for us anymore because we believe that something better is coming our way. I feel like, you know, with this nodal activation, like on an intuitive level, we're probably kind of likely right now to be like feeling like something is coming, like feeling like something is about to change, or feeling like, whatever maybe we've been wanting or waiting for is kind of like right around the corner, even if we can't rationalize it, even if in our like logical mind we're like, no, you know, that couldn't possibly be the case, like why are we having such high hopes or whatever, like why am I feeling like this? There's just this intuitive component of things that is picking up on the changes for the better that are trying to come our way if we are aligning with our authentic truth right now, and if we are not hiding from whatever lessons are presenting themselves in whatever capacity that may be right now in this Saturn at the very last degree of Aquarius, about to move into the sign of Pisces energy. So we don't want what's not working. I feel like is kind of a big thing that may be coming up for us. And that's basically the whole energy, I feel like, moving into our full moon tomorrow, which is going to be a lot about the same type of thing, really coming to the end of the road and just gaining this greater awareness of our own, like what we really need personally, and not really having that much of a tolerance anymore for anything that is preventing us from aligning with that. And with Saturn entering the sign of Pisces tomorrow, Jupiter 1 degree out and coming into the exact conjunction with Chiron this week, and then this third Mars-Neptune square. We're going to be talking about all this energy this week. Like I said, you guys don't want to miss an episode this week because we're going to have some pretty significant stuff to talk about in all of our days playing out this week. But we're redefining, like I said, we're redefining our reality with this triplicity, okay, of energy coming in. The Saturn transit into Pisces alongside Jupiter and Chiron in Aries, alongside Mars square Neptune from Gemini to Pisces. We are redefining our reality in relation to our own self-concept, our own self-perception, and our own sense of personal potential and capability. We are being given the opportunity to, like I've been saying, kind of totally reframe our experience in the context of these endless possibilities to manifest our dreams into reality if we are operating from this more evolved state arising from the hero's journey, the Chiron energy being represented by Jupiter and Chiron together, and the wisdom that is gained through that process, wisdom through experience, mastery over circumstances. If we can transcend our states of victimhood in this energy and really be actively working to reprogram our own personal algorithm and our own subconscious mind in alignment with co-creation and the paradigm that anything is possible for us, then this is wishes coming true energy. This is wish fulfillment energy. This is us recreating a reality for ourselves in alignment with those endless possibilities. Or if we have not gone through our hero's journey, to an exactly sufficient extent yet, that is able to kind of bring us face to face with ourselves and help us come to this point of really overcoming some things and surrendering to some things and, going through this internalized alchemical process, the ability to release, transcend, and overcome, master our circumstances. This will mark a divinely ordered period of time where we just can't hide from ourselves. We can't hide from our issues anymore. So it's like, if we're working with the energy, if we've already experienced a lot in alignment with the Chiron archetype, if we've done a ton of work and, if we've really let go of a lot of things, released, surrendered, and refined our vibration at this point in time, this energy represents, you guys, like exponential growth. If we are working against the energy, if we are not surrendering to it, if we are fighting it, if we are trying to escape it, if we are trying to hide from it, this energy also represents exponential growth. It's exponential growth any way you slice it with this Saturn entering the sign of Pisces. Some are emerging from the chrysalis and finding their wings and tasting nectar for the first time. Some are discovering that they are going to need to build the chrysalis and encountering the goo phase, but you can't get to the nectar, you guys, without going through the goo phase. So positive and growth and moving in the right direction regardless of the end of the spectrum that people, places, situations are falling on. Growth both ways, but that's just the story as it's unfolding. Also, this is just a very healing, there's a lot of healing energy going on right now. Aside from the Jupiter Chiron influence, we also are just talking about Virgo and Pisces, okay? Virgo is the sign of the healer. Virgo is also associated with Chiron. There are some people who believe that Chiron rules Virgo. Virgo and Chiron are, very go together very well. But we're also talking Virgo is a sign of the healer. And we're also talking about Pisces, which also has a lot to do with healing, drugs, medicine, stuff like that. So I feel like over this next few weeks, moving through our full moon phase and definitely in the energy today, you may just notice that like healing, medicine, recovering from things, old wounds, people talking about their issues and what they've done to recover from their issues, or some new information that they've gained or what they've learned that has helped them heal. These may just be what people are talking about like more frequently, and they may just be very relevant right now over this next couple days and over this next couple weeks as this full moon cycle plays out. We also have, I want to talk about a couple of the Sabian symbols just for a moment. We have Mercury at 7 degrees of Pisces today. That Sabian symbol is illuminated by a shaft of light. A large crop lies on rocks surrounded by sea and mist. So this is obviously, I feel like, talking about this spiritual force that is sort of recognizable almost in our tangible physical reality, with Mercury there in the trine and the sextile of the south node today. Like I said, I already talked about those Sabians, but I'm going to say them again. A bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge, and a gold rush tears men away from their native soil. It's almost like this spiritual awakening or this spiritual compulsion or urge or knowing or experience or perception that opens our eyes to something or makes it more real for us somehow, or just something that is stirring or awakening within us that is like triggering like our higher calling and causing us to sort of want to uproot ourselves from maybe what was comfortable in the past or what we were used to but was not conducive to our growth, and really sort of start walking in a new direction in alignment with the future path that is sort of forming like step by step in front of us right now. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, in terms of the astrology to open our week this week. Again, this whole week is really centered around, I feel like, the themes of there's a future oriented energy. First of all, there's a very strong future focus right now, which is important because a future focus, you guys, is sort of the opposite of the victim mentality. And the victim mentality is what attaches us and binds us to negative cycles and to states of lack, okay? Future focus opens us up to possibilities. It shifts things for us, and it like allows hope to be the driving force as opposed to like fear, okay? So we're having a future-oriented focus this week that is being more motivated by hope for the future than the fear of what we may be losing or what we may not have had. We are overcoming, you know, with this Chiron energy. It's about growth. It's about wisdom. It's about transition. It's about release. Full moons are about release as well, you guys. And, you know, also like this mental understanding that we've come to a point where it's time to move on, and like emotionally we're geared that way as well. So that's what I have to say in terms of the astrology as it's coming out today. Let us talk about the tarot for a minute. We have a whole bunch of cards coming out. We've got a bunch of major arcana cards coming out to start our reading today. We also have more cards that are talking about sort of release going on the back. I do feel like this moon card keeps showing itself to me. I saw it when I was shuffling, and I just picked up the deck to move the cards over here, and it was on the bottom. Something about this full moon in Virgo, you guys, I feel like is going to be significant in this process of our release and of our moving on and of our rediscovering and reawakening to the truth of our value and our like allegiance to that being stronger than to whatever we feared in the past or whatever we were attached to. Okay, let's talk about the cards that are coming out. We've got the Justice card in reverse, the Strength card in reverse, but it's followed by the Sun, okay? We've got the Six of Cups in reverse. We've got the Five of Wands in reverse, but then we've got the Queen of Pentacles. On the back of the deck, we've got the Five of Swords, followed by the Six of Swords. This might look like a lot of cards, but honestly, like, it's a pretty straightforward message. We've got these three major arcana coming out first. We've got two reversals and one upright. The Sun is upright. This is, and then we've got the Six of Cups and the Five of Wands in the reverse as well. This is telling me that any conflict that has been, you know, in place for a long period of time, perhaps any type of inner conflict or negative programming that we acquired in childhood as a result of some type of trauma or some type of inner child wound, perhaps, that kept us from seeing the truth of our strength or kept us in a state where things just never seemed fair or never seemed balanced. There is an awakening to the truth, you guys, of our value, of our potential, of our worth, and the abundance, the potential for abundance and beauty and love and comfort that is available to us through going through this reframing of our reality, through going through this paradigm shift. With the cards on the back of the deck, the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords, the negative thought patterns that had kept us in states of inner conflict and in inability to break through into this energy and into this awakening and into this recognition, that's what we're moving on from. That's what we're moving away from. And, you know, this moon card keeps coming out. It's like in the full moon itself that's coming up tomorrow is in the trine with Uranus, which is in Taurus, okay, which is awakening us to the truth of our value, of our potential, so that we can see it, we can understand it, we can embrace it, we can embrace ourselves, and therefore we can decide that it's worth it to put the energy into ourselves to become maybe who we've always wanted to be, or who we always thought we could be, or to develop certain aspects of ourselves based on a talent or a resource or a potential that we are recognizing within, and as a result of that, activating a part of our destiny or rising into a part of our potential that moves us through this path of self-actualization that helps us ultimately what? Ultimately be able to experience that level of internal abundance that we gain through going through that process externally in our lives as well. We are the ultimate outcome of this internalized awakening to the truth of our value is the external reflection of that, is the comfort, is the beauty, is the abundance, is the, you know, the balanced, like harmonious relationships, fruitful, abundant relationships externally as well. That is the gift that we get through going through this hero's journey and recalibrating our vibration in alignment with the gold of our soul, with the truth of our value, with the truth of our worth. So I feel like what this what this reading is trying to tell us is that, you know, whatever wounding, you guys, this wounding healing, exactly what I was just talking about, saying how we may be talking and find ourselves talking about ways that we've been wounded in the past and how we're healing and how that's moving us forward right now. It's like anywhere that we have been out of our courage or out of our strength or experiencing weakness or viewed ourselves through a lens of weakness or felt like things are unfair, we were in this victim energy, like we are moving on, Six of Swords, from that mindset, from that mental state, because we are rediscovering the light and the value and the beauty within us. And this moon card, it may have something to do with this full moon in Virgo, this healer moon with Jupiter and Chiron in a conjunction and being in a trine to Uranus and Taurus. So that's what I have to say, you guys, in terms of the tarot today. I feel like that is some I feel like it's sort of describing to us what may be coming with this full moon energy that we have coming out, and just sort of also in another way, which is why I do it, right? Explaining what's going on with this energy right now. Okay, let's talk about Synchronicity card now. Let's grab one more Synchronicity card. Or not one more. Let's grab a Synchronicity card. I just got distracted in my mind because I was thinking back and I can't remember. I feel like I didn't say in the beginning, you know how I always say in the beginning about the tarot so that I let people know that I'm doing the reading? I don't think I said that today. And it just crossed my mind as I was shuffling the Synchronicity cards. But anyways, let's get a Synchronicity card now. What is some advice or guidance that we can use as we are going through this energy day? What do we need to keep in mind as we are starting this week and as we are just moving through whatever is coming at us today? It says, we've got two that flipped over, so I'll read both of them. Stop, don't argue, and be yourself. So we're going to take both of these into consideration. Stop, don't argue. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. Don't fight or argue. Rest in the assurance that God is working for you on this matter. Relax, let go, and know a divine solution takes place. Harmony will return. Behave now as if it is already before you. So we've got that. And then be yourself. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. Philippians 2:3. You must remain free from pretension. Do not try to fool anyone, particularly yourself. With true understanding comes humility, and you will do all for the glory of God, and great and wonderful blessings will come to you. So again, like, this is the energy of surrendering right now to what needs to be released, not fighting against the process. I feel like I was just talking about how, you know, if we don't fight it and if we're going with the energy and if we're following the lessons, things are likely, you know, we're being given an opportunity to really have wonderful blessings come before us, right? And if we're fighting against it, like this is where things might get a little bit more tricky just with the Saturn energy. So that's the advice for today, you guys. Don't argue and be yourself, and we're gonna see what this week brings. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. If you guys liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments. I love your comments. I'm so grateful for you all being here. I love knowing how this energy is affecting you, you know, what's going on with you guys in the context of how these aspects are playing out. So let me know in the comment section below. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, some other social media stuff. That's in my description box below. Instagram is down there. I write a blog, you guys, that goes along with these videos that I post over in that Facebook group every day when I post these videos. And I also do like shorts and stuff that I post over there from time to time as well. So if you're into any of that, that's where you will find that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. Like I said, big week. We've got our full moon video tomorrow. We've got Saturn and Pisces the day after that. We've probably got like Jupiter in Chiron the day after that. And then like we've got Mars and Neptune square coming up as well. So lots and lots to talk about this week. Have a beautiful day, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And until then, bye guys.